In this video, I'm going to talk about the devaluation process of when my narcissistic ex started telling me things and acting in a way that started making me doubt myself and making me feel bad about myself. And before we start, I'd just like to talk a little bit about the different tactics that my ex has used with me and that narcissist can use with you. So there's mirroring, which is the narcissist scanning you and getting to know what your insecurities are. They're very good at this. Like from the very beginning, they have this ability to scan every single thing about you and to mirror your weaknesses, your wounds, basically, so that you create an instant bond with them, which is the trauma bond, actually. And so they mirror whatever you are going through, whatever is tough for you. So in my case, it was self-judgment, self-doubt, loneliness, bullying, feeling rejected, feeling misunderstood, all of that. He put himself in that situation and he plays the victim, and he's going to mirror exactly what I've been through so that I can feel super connected to him. Then there's future faking, which is very early on. He might talk a lot about the future and talk about different plans. And in my case, where I really wanted to get married, have children, and also, I didn't have plans after this contract, him talking about going to Asia together, creating a show together, getting married, having children, and all of that. It's like creating a vision of the future together so that you get hooked straight away. This being in your mind, this idea of being with that person long term creates a sense of safety within, and especially if you're a sensitive or empathic woman, it can be very tough to let go of that vision you're holding with that person, especially when it's been planted since the very beginning. Then there's the tactic of like, you're the exception, which I talked about in the past video, where he's really making you feel so special, like you're changing him, you are changing his life, you are different from all the other ones. He makes you feel seen in a way that nobody has seen you in this way before. And again, it's a way to hook you in. Let's now talk about the devaluation. So in my case, it was very subtle, and I think a lot of the time with narcissists, it is very subtle at the beginning. It was mostly through humor, and because I didn't want to seem like I can't take a joke, I was laughing along. But he was laughing about my physical appearance, certain parts of my appearance, and it was also about the things that I had told him were my insecurities. The worst mistakes you can make with a narcissist at the beginning of a relationship is to tell your insecurities, to open up actually, because they really use that afterwards to make you feel horrible. It hurt me so much deep down, but I was just telling myself that I was being too sensitive. He was always repeating me that I was too sensitive as well. Another way he was devaluing me is that he was always commenting other women's bodies. So on the ship we had shows, there were dancers, and he would comment on how good they're looking and how sexy they are and all of that right in front of me. Or he would look at women's bodies in a very insisting way right in front of me. Then afterwards he was criticizing me using humor. So I was feeling so bad deep down, but I was completely ignoring whatever I was feeling. I was literally gaslighting myself. The worst part of the devaluation for me was the music part, because I was a solo musician. He was as well. And I was really admiring him musically as well, because he was so confident and I just really liked whatever he was doing. So I was always complimenting him. It was terrible to play every single night in this bar and to fear him coming into the bar, because I know he would stare at me and not clap at the end. And because I would feel like he's judging me and I would feel not good enough, I would sometimes maybe make mistakes, and even sometimes I wouldn't make mistakes. But then afterwards he would tell me, oh, I heard the mistakes, by the way, but don't worry, it's okay. These kind of things. I was just feeling so terrible because I was so harsh on myself. He was also criticizing the kind of music that I was playing, saying that it was boring and it was shit. So it was always, he was not literally saying you're ugly and your music is shit, but it was always little things, that kind of like hit you from the side, and I couldn't really tell myself, oh, this is a red flag, he's not being nice, because it was always so subtle. But I remember feeling so bad when he was coming, because I felt like whatever I was doing was so shit. And the worst is that I was convinced that my music was shit. I was convinced that I was not being good enough. I was convinced that I was too sensitive. I didn't see that it all came from him. Another way he devaluated me was sexually. It was always all about him. When I dared having pleasure, at times he would laugh at me, mock me in the moment, or say something that really makes me feel so ashamed and so dirty. And that was a really painful part of the relationship that took me a while to get over afterwards. because it was such vulnerable moments, and being mocked in these kind of moments is just really, it's mean. It's like, it's mean. It's mean. It's crazy to think that I've been through all of that. I'm just looking back now and I'm very grateful that I'm out of this. When we were with other people on the ship, he would really distance himself from me, just as if he was ashamed of being with me, or he would make subtle comments that make me feel uncomfortable. So I would always fear being around people and with him, because I would never know if, you know, at times he would be very kind and showing people that we're together, and then at times he would just make comments about me that would make me feel so small and so bad. So I never knew, it was always hot and cold. I never knew really where to stand with him. I just remember in public being devalued and feeling so bad about myself one more time, feeling so stupid. So because we had this idea of creating a show together, we were sometimes rehearsing, and I was so shy to sing in front of him because I knew that I wasn't good enough musically, that my music wasn't real, it was boring, and that I was making mistakes as well. So when I was required to sing in front of him so that we could start rehearsing the show, I felt completely blocked and I just couldn't. Then he said I was childish and that I needed to stop being a kid, that I needed to be more mature, otherwise we wouldn't be able to make this work. I just couldn't hold it anymore. At times I just would start crying. He made me cry so many times. And then he would come back, give me a hug, tell me that it's okay, that he's sorry, but that I need to be more mature. So it was always my fault, you know, he was never really apologizing, obviously. So he was really being the savior every time, making me feel terrible, disgusting about myself, almost insulting me, and then coming back and giving me a hug and telling me that, you know, he's here for me and all of that, which really reinforced the trauma bond between him and I. So he constantly used this push-pull dynamic, giving me just enough affection to stay hooked, constantly beating me down as well. So yeah, as I said earlier, I was paying for most things, and I was just thinking that I get paid more than him, and he knew that as well. So I was thinking maybe it's fair to do that, but I was just convincing myself because I knew deep down it wasn't okay. But again, that was a thing that I should have called on at the time. He also kept on with that honesty of telling me who he had been with on the ship, and so that I trust him more. And he said to me, see, I'm honest, it's because I'm with you. I've never been this honest with girls. At the end of the relationship, I realized that if he told me all of that at the beginning, it was just to get ahead of the gossip. He knew that I would find out about who he had been with. So by telling me first, he really built that trust with me. And he put himself as a honest guy that I could really trust. The people on the ship were trying to warn me a little bit. Even though I thought he was so loved by everybody, I could see that some people were like, hey, you gotta be careful, this guy has been with other women. And like, I could feel that some people were trying to warn me. They told me to think for myself, that I might not be seeing everything clearly. But at the time I was just so confused and so lost, and I didn't know who I was, that I couldn't afford to lose his love, even if I was gonna get some friendships afterwards. But because I really wanted to think for myself and I really wanted to be sure that I was with someone who was honest, I would go towards him and tell him about the doubts I was having. And when I told him these things, he exploded completely. He blamed me so much for not trusting him. He said that I was trying to destroy the connection we were having, that he couldn't believe that I believed these kind of things from other people. And he was really, really angry, and I was feeling so bad and so insecure and so guilty for bringing that up, because I was like, it's true, how can I doubt him? He's so nice with me, he's brought me so much. How can I doubt of him when he's been so honest with me? And so I started to feel so guilty. He would really blame me for not believing in him. That was a big thing. It was like, you don't believe in me, you don't see me, you don't... And then I was feeling so guilty because I was like, oh, he really believes in me, he really loves me, he really gives me everything, and I'm so bad, I don't believe in him, I don't trust him, and I doubt of him, and this is all I do, and I'm so bad. This thing of leaving that girl, because in the end he did leave that girl, became a thing to blame myself for. It was like, I left everybody for you, this is what he was telling me. So he left that girl, but then in his mind he left his previous life, you know, him being an asshole or whatever, just to be with me. So he was like, I left everybody for you, and this is how you're treating me. And he was getting angry quite quite a lot at the beginning. I really started thinking that everything was my fault. I was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so lucky that he still wants to be with me after all my mistakes, after my music not being good enough, after my physical appearance not being good enough. I really believed in this whole fantasy, thinking that I wasn't enough for him, clearly, and I'm so lucky that he stays with me. I literally was walking on eggshells all the time. As I said, it was always hot and cold. I never knew. Sometimes he was so loving, so kind, so like just a perfect guy, and making me feel so incredibly amazing, just like at the beginning of the relationship. But most of the time he was not being like that at all, and I constantly felt like I was walking on eggshells, never knowing what version I would get of him. I was so scared of losing him. I was so scared of having to go back to myself, to my loneliness, to my anxiety, and to all these harsh feelings that I hadn't really been able to deal with before the relationship. I really believe that no matter how bad things got between him and I, it was still better to be with him rather than being on my own. And that belief really screwed me up. This is not self-respect, and I can see it now. When you truly respect yourself, when you truly love yourself, you want the best for yourself, and you'd rather be alone than with someone who doesn't respect you. But at the time, it was like, I'd rather be with him no matter what we have to go through, we'll make it work, we'll make it work, we'll make it work, was the most important thing in my mind. And the little breadcrumbs that he was giving me really was like the future, you know, that he was painting for us, and you know, talking about getting married, talking about having children. Yes, I was so naive. I know what you're thinking. I had known him just for a couple of weeks, you know. More realistically, it was staying together after the contract, you know, traveling together. He was telling me he has a very nice house in Tunisia, traveling together, creating a show together. So that really kept me hooked, because I was like, oh, I have a life plan now. I have something to hold on to that's exciting, and have found the right person. That was just my dream coming true, you know, because I literally had no plans after the contract. I was feeling so lost, and so I didn't know what to do afterwards. I didn't know where to land. I didn't know where to go. Having this plan with him was just so exciting to me. He really gave me something to hold on to, a future, an identity, a dream, something to hold on to. I really thought, no matter how painful it will get, I will make this work. This is my life purpose. I will make this work. That's the kind of mindset I was in. I'll carry on in the next video talking about the breakup point and the exit. So me breaking up and everything that happened around that. Thank you one more time for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.